And I've got one more question for you, and you don't need to answer this, but just write it down, and the reason I ask it will become significant. How much money do you need to get started in property? So if you write it down, what you think, and then later on we'll see just how that is relevant to today's presentation. So I'd also like to introduce
Hello.
Anna Lipcheva, who's my business partner.
Hi, nice to meet you. Well, we've met most of you today because we mingle quite a lot. I know it's the end of the day. I know it's been productive and quite interesting day, but you must be tired and hungry and thirsty. So we're just going to try and get it to the point. So we're Alpus Group. I'm Anna, that's Alan, and we've got today a special guest. This is our mentor, Dr. Jack Daura, who's been guiding us into more complex projects. So we're just going to tell you, where you're today. Probably you don't have a lot of experience, but we're just going to guide you and see how it is we can help you go into that very mysterious property business.
Worry about taking notes. If you just give your name and email address to my daughter Anna, who's at the back after the talk, and she will make sure you get all the slides. There's about 20 odd of them, so you don't need to worry about copying down notes or anything like that. And also, we've put all our offers on a single sheet there, so that if anyone wants to click on the QR code, there are various free resources there, and there are some sort of paid-for resources as well. But it'll all become clear once we go through the presentation. But what I'd like to do is just to introduce Jack, because Jack has a very interesting story, and when you look at how to get started in property, Jack is an illustration of just how high you can go in property with just limited resources. So, Jack, would you like to tell us your story?
Thank you, Alan. Hi, everyone. Imagine standing on a bridge trying to commit suicide at the age of 25. I'd like you to just imagine that. That was me in mid-2000s. And pretty much everything that I can remember from my life at that point was going down. I was down psychologically, emotionally. I was down financially. My relationships were suffering. Pretty much everything that I can imagine was suffering. So I thought, okay, the easier way is to just kill yourself. And I'm still standing here in front of you 20 years later. And I managed to get to a point where, thank you, Dr. Anne, for your presentation. That was great. I went through a phase of real stress and trying to save myself and trying to save my family. And one thing I learned is, here's a question I ask myself every single time when I come across any situation. Would it matter in 5 years' time? Every time you come across a challenging situation, would it matter in 5 years' time? And the answer to, in most cases, well, 99.99% cases is not really. That was one of my mantras. And through the last 20 years, I've managed to get to a point where we've built multiple companies, multiple properties. We have 95 units under our management at the moment. These are units that are owned as well as managed within our company. That's property units, that's short-term management under us. We've also converted the whole thing into a franchise. And one thing I learned that might help you, and one thing I'd like, if you want to take away from today from me is, I wish knowledge had any value, but unfortunately in this day and age it doesn't have much value. Here's what actually does have value: implementing that knowledge. So if you take away anything from here, you go back and you don't implement, it doesn't do anything. So I have got to this point where the thinking process of making a decision is only a few minutes, right? And then I stop thinking and I go and implement. So there is no thinking about making a decision all the time, thinking, oh, am I going to do this? No, you make a logical decision. If you have 70% of the information, you make a decision and you move on. And with that, we've managed to get to a point where we now have, like I said, quite a few franchises. We are at number, I think, 16 or 17 franchisees across the country. And we are also creating multiple SaaS products within our company as I speak. And we're doing multiple property projects as well, acquiring properties pretty much every year. We're growing at the rate of 50% pretty much every year. Yeah, that was a quick one. Thank you for this. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you.
That's amazing, Jack. I know a couple of things I'd just like to ask you. How much money did you start with?
I came to the country in 2000, 25 years ago, with £300, basically $500 precisely, but £300, and so yeah.
And what's your portfolio worth now?
If I was to look at the company that I own, probably about 4 million.
Incredible, yeah. And also, just for information, Jack actually didn't say so, but he actually gives away lots of training.
Yeah, that's something I'd like to share with everyone. One of the things that you might know, raise your hand if you own a bikelet. Do you own a bikelet? Bikelet? Anyone invested into a bikelet? Okay. And raise your hand if you've been to any property training before. Keep your hand up if you've paid for it. Right? There's loads of companies who are, providing training programs. We are the only one in the country providing all the property trainings for absolutely free. That's £10,000 worth of property trainings for absolutely free. If you want to get access to those trainings, please ask me. I'll give you a QR code. You scan that, you get in touch. I'll give you access to those trainings at the end of the session. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Go through our presentation now, but I think you can see how much is possible when you start with the right mindset. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're absolutely right, Henry Ford. Yeah. So we'll go through the presentation now.
Yeah.
So why invest in UK property? Well, it's an island, it's got limited housing, it's got limited land, and so property is an appreciating asset, and usually the rule of thumb is that property appreciates about 100% every 8 years. You can do different sort of strategies, and some of them are less profitable now.
Yeah.
Some of them you've got to be very careful about because we've got things like the Renters' Rights Bill, which affects the landlord's position. So Jack actually follows some very interesting strategies, which we also follow, which is management of blocks of flats and hotels as well. Yeah. So the traditional sort of buy-to-lets are not really so profitable at all. HMOs, they're hard work. The only way that you can make money from HMOs is if you do really high-end HMOs, and they can be profitable. But really, most of the HMOs in the market, the market is saturated, and most of them are vanilla sort of HMOs. It's very difficult to make money from them.
So I've showed a few examples, more profitable, less profitable, but these are the numbers. What's the stats say? Some of them are less work, some of them are more work, but you can choose. And you don't have to start with something and stay with it. You can diversify, so that's not a problem.
Yeah. Commercial to residential is a profitable strategy that we follow, and we're carrying out a number of those sort of projects at the moment. That's converting empty shops or office premises into high-quality residential and helping to solve the housing crisis. The 4 pillars: education, leverage, power team and systems. Chris mentioned about systems earlier. The power team, you need the right trusted team around you, and if you operate within the Penn franchise, which we do, then Dr. Jack has actually built a power team around him which is available to you. So things like funding, things like finding contractors, finding designers is not a problem because you're working within a network of trusted professionals. I'm also a member of the Property Investors Network, which is a nationwide network of property investors, as it suggests. And if you want to go along to any property investors network, there are 52 of them around the country, plus 2 in the Netherlands. And you go for the first time, you can use my code to register, which is Alan06, capital ALAN06, and you can get in for free for your first event. And then you can see for yourself what sort of support you can get from an investors community, people who are there to help you to achieve your goals. This is a little bit about me. Basically, I started working for a very small building contractor, never ever imagined that I'd be looking at projects of the sort of scale that I've carried out. And I've managed projects over the years up to $1.5 billion value. And I wrote a book about my experience. It's called Project Deliverance, the 20 Key Factors for Project Success or Failure. And if you leave your name and email, we'll email you the book as well, or we'll post you the book if you want a hard copy. We won't go through any of the detail.
Okay.
Essentially, what I do is I solve property problems, and these are some testimonials from different clients that just tell that story, that I've helped to solve various problems on different projects. One of them was the Stratford International Extension Project, which was one of the Olympics, 2012 Olympics projects. And you'd never heard anything about it because it was finished on budget and on time. So, you know, if it hadn't been, it would have been all over the media. But that's the best way, is finish things on budget and on time.
Yeah. Right. So maybe a few words about myself. It's not about the high heels. It's just the tech doesn't work, so I have to be here at the pole, so to say. So I have my background is in finance and economics. I used to work in banks for a long time, dealing with financing, with later on with M&A, and I had my own estate agent at some point with 20 people staff. So we kind of got to talking with Alan in one of the trainings we visited, and we realized, you know, my experience and his experience, well, we would say roughly above 8 years of experience.
Yes, a lot of experience, yeah.
So we'd better do something good.
Sure.
And that's how it got to it. That's an example of, at some point I had 120 units under my management. Again, same thing as Jack is doing here in the UK. It's short-term lets. It's less work for you because someone else does it, and it's more money. This is the summary I can do for it. Not going to bore you to death with this. We go next to the interesting part.
Yes, so if you've got a property problem, no matter what it is, no matter what you want to do, then you can work with us. You can adopt the Alpus unique branded solution, which I'll tell you just very briefly about. A stands for acquisition of the property. Now, we can acquire properties in different ways. Some of them are low cost, so we can acquire properties using purchase lease options, or we can joint venture with people in order to develop properties, do what's called an assisted sale, buy it in a deteriorated condition, do an exchange with a delayed completion, and then sell at a higher price and share the profits. So there's all sorts of creative ways that we can acquire property and also create wealth from development of property, and thereby create wealth for investors and also for property owners as well. The L stands for leverage. That means leverage our team's expertise, Anna and myself.
The leverage, sorry to interrupt, with the leverage, with the power team around us. So whether you know what you want or you don't, you can use our resources. We can work together. We're going to be part of one team. So, you know, just make things quicker and for less money. It's a no-brainer.
And when you look at the leverage we've got by being part of the Penn franchise, it actually increases our capability immensely, because as long as the profitability is above 25% on cost or 20% on GDV, then we're able to get practically unlimited funding for any projects in the UK.
It is true, actually. It's unlimited.
So the P is for the planning stage. It's effectively the design stage. So we take care of all and any design that's required, appointing a principal designer, carrying out the necessary construction design and management appointments and regulations, setting up the procurement. So this is taking a property, for example, an empty office, and then planning out how to turn it into high-quality residential. So that's the P for planning stage. U is the upgrade. This is the implementation of the design. So it's the construction, it's the safety monitoring, it's the safety returns under RIDOR, implementation under the Health and Safety at Work Act, so there are no fatalities, no injuries, no problems with the factory inspector or the HSE. And that the result of it is safe, secure investment returns, and that's what you want. If you're investing money in a company, you want to be sure that you get your money back and the projected returns as well. So that's why we adopt this branded system.
Yeah.
And with the aid of PEN, we can offer property financing and mortgages as well. Jack, amongst his many skills, is a financial advisor as well.
I think Jack introduced himself, but
Yeah.
maybe if you want
Do you
to
want
say
to add any more, Jack, just while we're here?
Right. You might ask what's in it. Like what do I do with this information? Right. I think the eighth wonder of the world is compounding. Raise your hand if you've seen something compounding. Everything compounds, right? Stress can compound. Money can compound. Pretty much everything. You work out, and if you work out consistently for 3, 4, 5, 10 years, it compounds, it shows up. So compounding applies to everything. Raise your hand if you want to see money compounding. Right? Right. So this is something that I apply in my life on a daily basis. Right. So when I wake up, the first thing is health compounding. So workout, definitely, no miss, absolutely none. And then let's say money compounding. Then I go and improve something in my business every day. So if let's say 1% is improved every day, optimized, then when you look by the end of the year, you've got a 300+% business optimized. And when it comes to relationships and social life and so on and so forth, or your intellectual health, if I may say so as well, that's compounding. So if you listen to audiobooks, or you take training programs, or you're mentoring or shadowing someone, or for that matter, your social or relationships, and you invest a bit more time into it and communicate with your closed ones, you compound that too. So it's really about compounding everything. But we're talking about property, so money compounding. How do you go from £300 in your pocket to a multi-million pound portfolio? So imagine if your money was compounding at, let's say, 50% per year, right? Every year. Raise your hand if you'd like to see something like that happening in your life or portfolio, right? There are multiple ways to do that within property. So the first step always is, and I started by saying that information or knowledge doesn't have much value these days. You can go on ChatGPT and Grok and Perplexity and a whole bunch of AI tools, and you can get a lot of information. Here is something that you can't learn even if you read about it, right? Here is something you can't learn unless you physically do not implement on ground and learn leadership and persuasion skills, negotiation skills. That's something that requires practical on-ground experience. Everything else can be learned. Even this stuff you can learn, but you still need to implement it on ground, right? So that's why we came with just provide all the trainings, and I mean covering every single strategy. That's your buy-to-lets, that's your short-term management, that's your developments, conversions, planning gain, you name it, either BRR, you want to buy a property and refurb it and sell it, pretty much covering every single strategy that there is in the property space, we cover it in detail. Not just that, we also additionally provide persuasion and leadership skills trainings. Again, all of that for absolutely free. Please raise your hand if you'd like access to that. Right. Absolutely free means absolutely free. You just come, scan, I give you access to a WhatsApp group, and you get access to all of those trainings for absolutely free. So please reach out to me, and I'll give you access to all of that. Going back to what Alan was sharing about property, even in that space, technical aspects of property and how you can invest and so on and so forth. If you want to do it yourself, you can do it yourself. You want to come and work alongside us, you can do that too. But you'll get all of that, and like I said, even the technical aspects of property within those trainings. So yeah, just reach out to me, and thank you once again.
Yeah, if you're a property investor, you want to work with us, you can scan the QR code. You've got it on the sheet in front of you. You can book a call with Anna or myself, and we can see how we can work together. We've also got a... Sorry,
Yeah,
you're going to say?
No, go ahead. So depending on where you are and what you want to do, not everyone is passionate about property like we are. Mm-hmm. We have a do-it-for-you service. Now, this is slightly different than what Jack said. There's a price tag to it. But then everyone is different. So we're happy to discuss this at kind of in a private conversation and see how it is we can help. But imagine today having zero property and zero passive income from it, because we can make it totally passive. And imagine tomorrow, probably not tomorrow, but say next month, you've got a cash flow. You've got blood coming into your veins, right? So you can enjoy life. And that's pretty much what we wanted to share with you. Is any of that of interest? Does any of that sound appealing?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's have a chat. And a few drinks. And some food. Yeah. It's been a long and productive day.
That's amazing, and I'm glad you bring that in. Thank you so much. Thank you. Drinks, yes, they will open the bar just for us on the real.